Good evening, everyone. We are ready to start the Economic Development Commission's monthly meeting. It's December 20th. And in attendance is Inga Hoteling,
Serena Fuller,
Amber Bach,
Greg Diley.
Craig Samuelson.
Jack Cody.
and we are hoping that Mark is going to be able to join us online as well as Pam. So, first thing that I'd like to do is we're going to do the drawing for our Shop Local, Dine Local promotion. And what I've got here are a group of bags. Can I just put this right here?
yeah,
Okay. We actually had a total of 432 participants on Saturday. We were down about 200 from last year. And the reason was Teresa Coward did not work the register at Coward's Farm. And because last year she did, and she had virtually everybody that came into her store fill out a coupon. So they had 59 entries. So jokingly, I've said to Teresa that next year she has to stay in the store. So what we're gonna do, so everybody can participate. Here's one for you, Jack. Is we're just gonna go around with the first round. And on the back of the bag is who the business is. And we're just gonna go in order of what I have here for gift certificates. And pick a winner.
they have affordable decor.
Great.
So just pick, are they in here?
They're all, the tickets are all in there. Yeah, Marie's got a great little store there.
Aaron Delton.
Okay, so Carol Delton won, Aaron
Yeah.
won a $25 gift to the grind. So I'm putting that in there and putting this in the bag. And if you can fold it flat again. Perfect, so
All right.
that's one.
And I have Cowards. And I have, oh, what are we doing this one for?
Village Pizza.
Okay, I have Lori. I think it got cut off. Gessie or Gesso.
Is her phone number on
Yeah,
it?
her phone number's on it, so we got
Okay.
it.
Good.
Oh. Yes, her phone
Okay.
number's on it enough.
And actually, let's do this, because we have extra gift certificates. Let's take the rest of the people that are in each bag and start putting them in one bag. Because we're
Okay.
gonna end up having more.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll put them all on that one. Okay. We can just put these in.
You're gonna keep all the,
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
Okay,
Consignment Castle.
okay,
Okay,
this is Crape's Tea House.
And this is Winnie. Winnie
Winnie won.
won.
Okay,
that might be the dentist.
Well, we have
Assignment.
pieces of paper in here and
Are you putting this back in the bin?
No, I'm gonna put all.
no, you must have Blossoming Acres.
I will
Yeah.
after.
All right.
Yeah, I got there around 9:30 and they already had people coming in about it. So they had their own creative ones. So this is for the Italian bakery.
All right. Then we have Dawn Blanchard.
Excellent. Yoo-hoo, Dawn won. Okay. And Jack. you
Okay.
got-
Re-inspired?
Yeah, but where's the next certificate for?
Yeah, I'm waiting.
What was it? Who is it?
Re-inspired.
Re-Inspire, Fresh Fields. Woohoo.
Andy Murphy.
Okay. Congratulations, Andy. Okay, and I've got New England Bike. And the gift certificate is for the launch, and it's Dana Pinchard.
In a pension.
Dana Pinchard. And you've got the extra bag, right?
Doing the extra bag, yep.
Okay.
Well, under the little lips.
That's New England Bike.
Or you want this back? Yeah, well.
Yeah, as long as,
Yeah.
no, you can just leave it right in
In the
there.
back? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, this is Country Colonial.
And Country Colonial is gonna win for Kettlebread.
Sally Gagnon.
Craig. Sally Gagnon. Okay, that's the one with all the tickets,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, what's next?
Next is Mrs. Murphy's.
You want
Okay,
this?
and I have the notch.
That took forever to get, I get certificate to work.
And that was the notch?
Yep. And what is this for, Mrs. Murphy's?
Yep,
This is Matt Friedrich.
Matt Friedrich. Perfect.
IBS,
IGS, and this is for the summer house.
Jalen L,
Jalen L. Oops. Great. Okay, Craig, you're up.
Farmhouse furniture.
And this is for Tucker's.
Yeah, Deb L.
Deb L.
Maybe they're
Okay.
related and they could go shopping and eating out together.
Why not? Okay, this
I
is,
have Southwick Floors,
this is the launch.
lunch. Don Connolly.
Okay. Oh,
Where is the launch, huh?
I had two.
Oh, yeah, two, okay.
Yeah. Okay, and the last bag I have is Daily Dose Yoga. And this is for a gift certificate to Blossoming Acres, and it's Abby Fraser. And she has just a email address. So,
And I have an envelope in here. She said they needed it.
Yeah, but we didn't
It's
need
been
any of
here.
these ones.
Oh.
Here, give me that one back.
Daily Dose Yoga.
There.
Okay, so we have two more gift certificates, one from Millie's, one for the Southwick Inn.
All right.
So we can just put them all, oh, here's some more.
I'll put them in the grand, yeah.
Okay,
Put them in the.
Ready?
yep,
All right, where are we doing first?
Millie's,
Millie's, Sue. Sue won Millie's.
okay, and Sue's got a phone number there,
Sue has the
right?
Phone number.
Okay. Excellent.
And,
The last one is for the Southwick Inn.
all right, take this one up.
Ooh,
All right, Richard Good.
okay. Perfect,
All right.
okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yay. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow, I am going to call all these people and let them know that they won.
Nice.
Mhm. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good
And-
work on all of that for everybody that was involved.
a lot.
And I tell
There you
you,
go. That's a lot of work on your part.
well, next year we're gonna do things a little different. So we'll talk about that
Okay.
in the next couple of months. I don't know if maybe we should think about maybe doing a little bit of a scavenger hunt or have these people have, like we did for Open Farm Day, a card that they have to go to X amount
Oh,
of
yeah,
businesses,
yeah.
something like that. So start thinking what you think could be fun and easy to implement for one day. Just something a little different, because there was a couple of businesses that were a little concerned that they were called fairly last minute. But during that transition is when Frank chose to resign,
Mhm.
and he had a few that he was gonna be responsible for
Mhm.
calling. And by the time that all happened, I had already all the printed material.
Oh, right.
So not everybody was able to be on the printed material, so don't want that to happen. But all was made good. And that's all that matters. So, the next part of the agenda, oh, and help yourselves, I've got, Indiana popcorn with chocolate drizzle.
Indiana?
Indiana makes the best
Oh,
popcorn.
do they?
Yeah.
They know their own corn.
They do. My mother's a Hoosier. And whenever we'd go to Indiana, we would always stock up on popcorn kernels. So.
My
Anywho,
grandfather in Northwest Ohio, only, maybe 10 minutes from the Indiana border, grew popcorn on his farm.
Did they do this every year?
they do,
Because this was the first year I
Yeah,
heard of it.
yeah,
We were
yeah, they
never
do it
aware.
every year, yeah.
yeah.
I wasn't
So,
around.
so that's where, we'll have the ability next year if we want. Amber was referring to
The
the
holiday party. I saw.
holiday party. We'll be able to, hopefully all attend or make a effort. I wasn't able to because I had a commitment. And also thinking about if we might want to sponsor a tree.
Okay.
So something to think about. And we can talk about that at a future date. So another part of our agenda today, which was going to be a pretty sizable piece, and we might end up wrapping up this meeting a little bit earlier than anticipated, is look at review the website. I know that Greg and Amber and Pam have been diligently working on the website. And you all had how many meetings so far?
Well, we didn't meet at the last one.
Yeah, we
We've met twice, 3 times?
lose track, but it's 2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times. we've
And
met.
so I haven't seen the final version because the last meeting that we were gonna meet, we decided we didn't need to do it and thought she'd be here and it all worked out. So,
Right. I know that Pam has been really focusing on making it look aesthetically balanced, putting in a lot of the Southwick vibe in it. She purchased a drone through a local person here in town. And I have the invoice for you to submit that through for payment. Reasonably priced. It was $100 for that video that's in the website, along with some other photographs as well. And what's your thoughts about how the website is looking? Because I've not seen it other than a quick little snippet.
just the beginning part she did, does good work. So
Yeah,
I have
it's,
no question it'll be,
I think it's gonna be
it'll-
absolutely
it'll
beautiful.
look
I mean, with the photos, with the sidebars, with the different things, the different ideas, I think everybody's put in, it's gonna be great. And I think it's gonna be easily accessible to everybody as well. So I don't think you're gonna have to like super search out certain things. I think it's all gonna be right there and be simple.
right, and because it's.
User friendly.
Because she is a creator, we can constantly improve it and add things. over
So
time.
any discussions about the website? Because right now we have Amber and Greg that we can ask questions to.
Well, a big piece of the website initially, the website has got several purposes, and we talked about this in the meeting, because I always want to see the strategic direction. So who is the audience? Well, there's maybe 3 audiences. One are the local businesses, for sure. and we want to provide them resources. Another audience are potential businesses coming in, we can direct them for information. And a third audience are local and neighboring residents who are looking for information about places they can shop at and goods and services that are available in town. And that's the piece that, you know, they can go in through different doors, and it's not like everybody goes to the homepage. You know, you'll have a place where businesses will land, maybe a different place where prospects will land, and certainly a different place where the shoppers, the local and neighboring residents would land, because they're very different purposes and different URLs. And the one that I'm proposing and we discussed for the residents is shopsouthwick.com. And I think that for residents, it's really important for it to be memorable and easy to remember, because they're going to be typing it in. And we want to promote it. If they see a sign, oh, that's where I go shop Southwick. I can remember that. Type it in shopsouthwick.com. And then they don't go to the home page of the business side. They go straight to the listings that'll be organized in an easy way to find it.
So for the Shop Southwick, is that just gonna be for retail, consumer type of businesses, or is it also
It'll be anything.
services?
Because it'll have categories. So
Oh,
all
okay.
goods and services and, you know, offices, dentists, churches, you know, anything that is potentially even the home businesses. You know, we've got the list that for this mailing of
Right.
476. And I don't know if everybody's had a chance to scan through it and see if there's anything missing or added or.
Can I just, I interject just for a minute? I don't think he means shop Southwick, like meaning go
Right.
shopping, go buy stuff. I think he means like shop Southwick, like as a
It's goods and
generalized,
services.
yeah, as a
Right, goods and
generalized.
services.
And not retail
Right.
stores, restaurants, I mean, anything that's a business. You know, they can be septic services, they can be construction services, they can be industrial. Anything that's a business, you can shop it. Goods and services.
So we can just talk about it tonight, we can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Or we
So-
can,
Well, that was,
see it.
that was gonna be part of the purpose
Yeah.
this evening, was to be able to look at it and approve it as a commission, so that we can continue moving forward and get that Shop Southwick or whatever that page is that you want, that we can link the survey to.
Right, because we want to have that ready to, if we send this mailing out and people start responding, we don't want to have it be months go by before they see something. We'd like to have it ready
It's gotta
Right,
be ready.
right,
to
so
put in right away so that it's up and we can advertise it.
can I propose just like maybe, and I know that we're all super busy, but maybe have a secondary, really quick, short meeting at some point where Pam, when
On the
she's ready.
On the
It's on the
agenda,
agenda,
yeah.
yeah. 2 meetings in January.
But that-
Just in case.
But that we can do that for, can I motion that only because I think that we all need to visually see it before we can make and determine. We all have
Absolutely.
these ideas. We've sat down a couple of times, obviously, and thrown in our ideas. She's doing a great job. She's working really hard. And I think rather than just kind of throwing these things out there, not knowing what's already there,
Mhm.
maybe it's better, you know.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, because
Yeah.
I have some questions, but it's like,
Yeah,
why
we
am
need
I
to
bother
visually,
asking
yeah,
if I can
visually
just see
see
it?
it,
Well, the
yeah.
only thing I thought, I was thinking about, if you have a couple of questions, because Amber and Greg have been part of that team,
Well,
maybe
I
they
was-
would have an answer
well, I was
for
gonna
you.
ask how it flows from the homepage, each one of these.
Right,
separate
yeah,
things,
that's,
you know,
and that's
but I'm
still
gonna
for
see
me,
that
myself
once you
is
have the
confusing
website.
it to me a little bit, like I'd rather just, you know, I think
Right.
for her to show us
I
what she
agree.
has. And
Mhm.
again, it's a lot of work. I mean, she is the manpower behind this. She's doing a lot of work on this on top of whatever else she has going on
Right.
between work and everything. So, you know, if she's not quite fully ready, I would understand that as well. So if she says, I just don't think, or just a rough you know.
Yeah,
just
well, the
a
only
rough-
reason why she's not here tonight is because she's sick.
I understand, but
So-
you know, just give us a rough show again and,
Mhm.
you know, for you guys to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause
I do have
I,
one question. Once we vote on it, we agree to go forward. How does that get linked into the Southwick Town homepage?
So I think at that point, we need to have somebody from the town, they link it up to our, when it says like, if you go on to our town commissions on the side, where antiquated, when you click on it, our antiquated website comes up, it's gonna come up from there.
right, Jim
Okay.
Middleton is gonna be our point person for that here in town.
And I didn't know if there was a time or a process to get that in place, but if it's just a matter of talking to
Yeah, I
somebody
think
in the
because it's
town,
bot, a
not
bot like
really
URL or something, so I don't think it's an issue, I don't think it's,
You know, I would love to see, in addition to being on the EDC side, the link, I'd love to see a link right on the homepage of the town of Southwick site. Just a little banner,
Mhm.
shop
Mhm. Yeah,
Southwick,
I agree. Yeah.
that type of thing.
Mhm.
You can put a link
Right.
anywhere.
Yeah, because if you just go to the main page, you don't really see, like when I was looking for the agenda, I had to go to commissions or boards, you know?
Right.
It's
Right.
confusing,
yeah,
cause it
I
just,
agree.
it doesn't get you right there.
It's gotten better.
It has
It
gotten better.
gotten better,
It's
but
gotten
it's
better. It's
confusing.
gotten better.
Yeah.
So it's just these little baby
Yeah.
steps. So in regards to the website, does anybody have any other questions that they want to ask before we make a motion?
And the motion will be for what?
Having a
Secondary,
secondary meeting?
short, not a 2 hour. meeting.
No, short meeting to be able to review, the
I don't
website
even have mine.
as of to date.
Because it's assumed that this meeting will have to take place before our scheduled meeting? Is
Yes,
that what we're saying?
yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna be in Aruba.
Yes,
Let's
we
just
don't
see
have
what
to
our
put it
dates
on
are
to the
then.
end of January.
So if we forecast out,
Well, unless we just move our monthly meeting up.
well, we can right now at this point, if you want, discuss item 6 under the new business is, I was hoping to see if you folks would want to have 2 meetings in January. And that was based on our meeting this evening, where we were going to be looking at the preliminary view of the website and also the letter to our 476 businesses, and to be able to coordinate a time for us to actually fold stuff and get ready.
We can approve that tonight. We have enough of a quorum, right?
Oh, right.
Okay, so we could do that. I'm just curious, in January, to have a second meeting, was there something significant happening at our actual meeting that we couldn't do the website then?
I was hoping just to start getting that website moving forward today so that we could get that page coordinated to
Yeah.
link the mailing out.
Right, because I hate to go too far on the mailing until we have a firm schedule on the website.
Right.
So couldn't we
It doesn't
accomplish
have-
both that
Yeah.
by moving everything up in the month and have
That's-
our annual?
At this point, that's what needs to be done.
But I'm saying move our usual meeting up in the month.
So instead of the 3rd Wednesday in January, do it prior to that.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes,
Then we could accomplish this so we can keep moving.
absolutely.
I'll be away for a week. I'm going to Aruba, 13th through the 20th.
Okay, so the options that we would have would be the 10th,
Okay.
January 10th. Then the following will be the 17th, and you will not be here.
Right, right.
And I will not come to them.
Okay, so,
No, what, you have the time?
Not the 17th,
Okay.
okay,
So we just shoot
So-
for the
to the
10th?
10th.
Yeah, let's do the
someone
10th and then
like to make
just
a motion for
see how
that?
much we get
I'll make
done there.
I'll make a motion to have a secondary meeting on the 10th of
No, it's gonna be,
January.
No,
it's gonna be.
change the monthly meeting
date.
Oh, I'll make a
And- Right, and we can decide if we don't get everything done, we could have one
okay,
a couple weeks later.
Additional
Okay.
meeting.
okay, I'll make a motion to change our meeting for January to the 10th.
I'll second that.
Now, for that meeting, do we want to look at a 2-hour time window? Would you rather look at an hour and a half?
With the website, I'd like to have the option open for 2 hours. We
Okay.
get done
So
sooner.
we'll get done, so
Great.
like tonight, we're gonna get done earlier and we're gonna leave.
Yep,
So we could do the same thing for
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So I'll book a meeting for January 10th. 2-hour window, 6 to 8.
Is there anything that we could start looking at ahead of time on the website, so it's not so much of an element of surprise?
she
Can
has
we
it on
see
her,
it? We
yeah.
Can't see it, right?
I don't think so, because I think, because we were the smaller amount, otherwise it's kind of quorum.
And we
Or
could-
maybe
we
she
could
could-
ask
yeah.
if she can put a beta link for us to look at.
And just
it.
don't respond, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So. Business letter. You go to the second page. This is the letter that Greg has been working on. And take it away, Greg.
Okay. This is what it would look like in the envelope. We're talking about maybe metering it to say 3 cents each. I looked into doing a pre-sort and I spent hours on this and talked to multiple post office and people in Boston and visited the Springfield post office, and everything looked like we could do it, except I hit a wall when they said, oh, if you order the pre-sort stamps, which is the only way to do it without paying a fee for a permit, which will be several $100s, you have to order 3,000.
Excuse me,
Their
Greg.
website,
We have somebody wanting to get in on
I
Zoom.
don't see it. There's nothing here.
Oh, it's Diane. We don't see you.
I wonder if it's on a different. Oh, right there.
It would probably be right down on the bottom toolbar.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Oops.
try expanding this to full size, see if there's any
On the
option.
pan-
No, right up in the top bar. in the
Right
middle
there.
There.
There we go.
That's
Yeah.
why, okay. Participants.
Done that.
It's on here.
It's usually when somebody's
Yeah,
coming
it's-
in, there's an icon
Yep.
at the top.
Yep,
Okay, I'm gonna ask Diane to try again.
Anyway, what I was
Sorry.
saying
So it's
is on the
3,000?
post office website, they said that they had it in lots of 500, which have been perfect. People bought 500 pre-sorted stamps for under 30 cents each. Compared to, what is it, 60?
63, 65.
I think meters.
My meter,
Yeah,
63, yeah.
63, so it would have been less than half. But you gotta buy 3,000, so there goes our savings. If we ever have to do a bigger mailing, do it.
Mhm.
So I think we'll have to go with meters. We've got Inga ordered these double window envelopes. So what we do with this format is we'll have to triple fold it. It's an easy, just fold the bottom up to the bottom of this window, the top back, insert. And they show up in the Windows return address and the outgoing one. The letters are set up in Microsoft Word merge. So I've got the list of addresses in an Excel spreadsheet. And you just join it with the merge and it prints out the address for each of them, the position designated. So that'll be the outgoing address and it's designed to be straight to the point, really easy to understand. And we'll give them they'll just go right to the Shop Southwick, where there will be a prominent link for the survey. The other complication I've run into is that what I've used this Survey Monkey over the years, and it was always free. There was always free function, and when I went in to set it up, it said, oh, here's things you pay for and here's free features, and I only used the free features. And then I finally took it all the way to where I was gonna publish the survey, and it says, oh, by the way, free only gives you 25 responses. And if you want to go up to, 500 or 1,000, you've got to, do one of our paid plans. And the cheapest plan for 1 month would be $99. There's others lower per month, but then you have to prepay for a whole year. Month to month was 99. I could, when I get a little time, I'll see if there are any other survey services. I asked Pam if there was a way she could set up a survey form in the website software she's using, the GoDaddy software. And she said, they only have very simple forms and it probably wouldn't work for the surveys we're
Okay,
doing.
so she said nothing.
She said
can't do.
it doesn't
Okay.
look like she could set it up easily and then.
So what do you're considering this a survey?
The survey is an online survey.
They're gonna have to go on.
They go to this site. I mean, if we could set up the survey right on our site, that'd be great. But what they would do is go to the site. There'll be a big button link, click here to do I won't even call it a survey, sign up for your free listing for your business. They click there, has 4 survey questions that take them 30 seconds to do or a minute. And then it'll say, okay, now here are the questions. What's the name of your business? Describe it in two paragraphs. What's your phone number? What's your website if you have one? Describe your hours and, the basic information for the listing.
So I see where it says that they'll, will create a very easy to find attractive listing.
Yeah,
Do they approve that or how does?
they're giving us the information. So we're using the exact information they provide.
So when they provide the information, does that automatically create their business listing on our site?
We will take what they provide, put it in a database, probably a Excel spreadsheet. And then that can be used to feed the website.
So somebody here will be manually or monitoring what goes into our database?
I will put it in.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
ask
then-
that question.
Then hopefully Pam will be able to automatically import it into the website.
If we're gonna automatically import, then I think we should have some kind of language stating we have the right to not accept any inappropriate or
Oh,
fraudulent.
I'm gonna
sites.
review everything that
Correct.
comes out.
Yeah.
But if we're telling people what they vote in is what they're gonna get, then we should have a caveat in here that some high school kid gets in there and decides to create a fake business that might be a little risque or whatever. We should have the ability not to be able to put that in there.
Okay.
And we should
Yeah,
help
that's right.
people
Yeah,
with that.
well,
Yeah.
I don't foresee that being a problem, but because we've got the list going in, we're not sending these mailings out to random high school
Sure.
kids. We're sending it to targeted people
But
that
there'll be a
have
link on our
businesses.
website to be able to fill that out.
But and I'll be looking at each submission and seeing that it makes sense. And then also if there's some we know of restaurants or stores or businesses that didn't respond, we'll follow up and make sure they respond.
Yeah, my only comment is, do we need to put a caveat in here that we will be monitoring submissions in case we need to make a change?
I think we can put that on our website. We don't need to have it in the letter.
Okay, that's fine. I just,
Yeah.
to make sure that,
In the website, when they click on it, or at the end of this, the survey, you'll say, you know, if we have, because we ask them for contact information, we're asking them also for their email address, so we can stay in touch.
Okay,
And we,
Yeah,
you know, if we have any questions about their listing, we'll call them.
okay.
So it seems to me though that, I mean, we have only so many different types of businesses, so how do we, I mean, you might have masonry contractors, let's say, I mean, how specialized are these listings going to be and how does that affect how they show
The categories, I figured we will divide it in reasonable categories based on the description they give of their business.
up? Is it better
Can we
to
have a drop
include that
down?
in that survey though? I mean, where they have to pick one?
Yes.
I'd rather assign it than put out categories in advance. What I ask them for is describe in a couple sentences, you know, what the goods and services that you offer.
But we're gonna have
Yeah.
categories
right.
already determined,
Some of
right?
them will be clear. I hesitate to put out fixed categories because there's always somebody that, I don't know what category I'm in, and
Why don't, we can just do
some people in
miscellaneous
multiple
then.
categories. I would rather look at all the responses and then assign the categories. I mean, we'll cover most of them
Right.
easily with restaurants, gift
Mhm.
stores, whatever, we'll be able, but there'll be some that'll be a little more struggle and I don't want to have 100 categories. I want to try to condense it into the minimum number that will cover the businesses. So I'd rather not give them a drop-down box or a checklist or anything.
But are we
They
gonna
then
have,
know when their business information is set up and what category they fell into?
It'll be, I think it would be fairly obvious when they
Yeah.
come in. Now, one thing, you know, in terms of qualifications, I would tell them, you know, if there's any correction at any point that you want to make to your listing, you know, here, send it to this email address and we will make it quickly.
Okay, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, just
Yeah, no.
think of
Yeah,
it.
I'm
absolutely.
confused too. Don't we, now the 470 people that you got, are we gonna try to keep a list
Yes,
anyway?
yeah,
Like a master list?
yeah, we're
'Cause we
trying to
didn't
get their,
have one,
we're trying
right?
to get their email address, like, that was one of our, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
one of the-
this is,
with the
I've spent
survey, it's
hours and
supposed-
hours searching
Yeah.
Yeah,
online. I've even gone up and down.
so we're asking them if they
Highway.
want a free business listing, we're gonna have one for them anyway, right?
Well, we don't have
Until-
them.
No, I'm not gonna put it in without their permission.
Okay,
Mhm.
so the
Right.
town, remember we said, I can't believe the town doesn't have a list of all the
Well,
businesses?
right, so part of it, I think, is for them to go into the survey, do the survey, that way we have an updated list. So we're
Okay.
sending an updated list for whether it
Alright.
be mailing or
Okay.
email, and that
And-
way going forward, we don't have to do mailings, we can do emails in a
Right.
sense as
Mhm.
well.
Okay,
Right.
But we
there's-
don't have all their email addresses.
all right.
We also
And,
don't have all their.
and I will go through, I've got the list of 476. I'll check off the ones that as they respond.
Mhm.
And if somebody doesn't respond, you know, if it's a home-based business, forget it. If they're, you know, a Main Street business, we'll call them, we'll visit them. We'll say, you know, you wanna be in this. Well,
Okay.
but if they say, no, I don't wanna be, we're not gonna put them in.
I have a quick question, I'm sorry, because this shopsouthwick.com. So aren't we doing a Southwick Economic Development Commission website?
Right, this is
But-
what I was explaining before. We have at least 3 audiences.
Right, no, I understand, because we've all discussed that, but like the shopsouthwick.com, this is, so this, so
That's
this is,
we can have 3 different URLs. It doesn't have to all go through that URL. We don't want to send residents to Southwick Economic Development Commission.com.
right, but if they,
Nobody will come.
right, but if they go on, I mean, if, I don't know. If they're looking for a restaurant in South, wouldn't it hit certain things, they'd have to do shopsouthwick.com in order to find a restaurant?
Yeah, that's the simplest,
Okay.
short way to understand it. You know, shop means for goods and
No,
services.
I understand, I'm just,
And it's easy to
Okay.
remember, it's short, you don't want something long. we want to get a lot of traffic.
Does it say
It's not gonna
sponsored by
be-
Suffolk, economic development, is there a sponsoring, I mean, just so there's some
Oh, it'll
messaging
be-
here and recognition,
It'll be clear, I mean,
okay.
Yeah, well, even
when they
the
go,
letter
when they
itself.
go to the
No,
website,
I don't know
it'll,
what the banner you're talking about. You know, the banner, what you mentioned,
when they, saying when they go to the website, when they go to Shop System, Southwick, yeah, it'll clearly say this is
Posted
is
or,
developed by the Southwick Economic Development Commission. This is a website of the commission. The important thing of the URL is if it's complicated, people won't bother going there. We want people to put this as an icon on their phone. It'll be a reference. We want to put it on signs. We want to put it on the town website, links.
Mhm.
You know, we want to push it to where people can remember it.
they'll be
Because right
doing
now, there's
classroom.
no way, and I know this from having spent hours trying to search for businesses. There is no place you can find all the businesses in Southwick.
so what does this logo or whatever look like? I mean, have we talked about that, or is it just? I mean, if we're talking about recognition, isn't it important that we make sure we get that part right? We don't want to change that later.
Well, I think that goes with the website presentation, and we'll have some typography as well as the presentation of the website. We can talk about that.
But the shop local will have some pizzazz to it, right? It's not just a couple of words, right?
Well, it's the URL, and even with logos, and I've been in marketing my whole life. The trend in logos is you want something really simple. They don't make them real fancy, not so much artwork. It's gotta, be highly visual, highly easy to read, shouldn't be overly complex.
Mhm.
That it should be consistent. It should have a consistent appearance as a logo. But the key thing here is to have something that's highly readable and in a
Easy to
very
navigate.
readable
Like
font,
Amber said, user friendly.
user friendly. Once we put it out there, it should have consistent coloration, consistent typography. But it's not gonna be a lot of fancy artwork. It's gonna be mostly just the words, but in a very clear and consistent
Yeah,
color and
because,
typography.
once we have this shop Southwick, or if you wanna call it support Southwick, whatever the tagline is gonna be. Once they go into there, it's gonna be more like a directory layout. That's how I'm envisioning it.
It's gotta be searchable. It's
Yeah.
gotta have categories. When you go to the homepage, it'll say restaurants,
But
gift
just,
stores,
yeah,
other kinds of stores, food
Just-
stores.
give you an idea, with Pam's artistic eye. I've been really impressed by some of the things that she's coming up with. Right, and the whole thing about this website, when you open it, it's gonna look class A. But then it's gonna be able to support our businesses in town by that link. So this is just our first outreach to get to these businesses, to let them know that, hey, there is an EDC in town. And
it'll
we're
be
here to stay,
optimized
and
for
we're
mobile
going to
phone,
support
where you
them.
can
And we need
easily
to
Find stuff
get
on
more
it.
information.
If you just
We
wanna,
need
if
information,
Right.
you wanna know the hours of the restaurant.
Can't help you if you don't have your
It'd be the
information.
quick way,
right?
quicker than doing any.
Once we have that information,
You want
if we
the
wanna
telephone
do-
number to call
yeah, if we
somebody.
wanna do a promotion for, centered around consignment stores. Just checking on those because they actually do pretty well here in town.
Mm.
Then we'll have their contact info. We can contact them directly and say, hey, we're thinking about doing this promotion next month. Do you want to participate? We'll bring our shop local signs, our sandwich boards, we'll put them out there. We'll put them on our forums, we'll put them on the town crier. So it's our opportunity to be able to now have an outreach.
Right, and one of the questions in this quote survey is provide your email address so we can this will not be published on the site. it is only so we can contact you if there are events or things going on. It'll be no more than a couple times every few months, so you don't have to worry, and you can opt out of it anytime you want, but provide your email address so we can stay in touch.
Oh, so
We're
they're
not gonna
email,
put our email
Yeah.
addresses
You don't
on
have
the
their webs-
websites?
People don't. Businesses, for the most part, don't like to publish email addresses because they get spammed.
they want their website
Website,
to
absolutely.
be
Oh,
out
But not
there,
your email.
but not their
But email,
personal
Okay.
emails.
No.
Email
Right.
addresses, even
Right,
if you go to a
right,
big
right.
company, they're not gonna give you their email address. They're
Sorry,
gonna
I
have
was
a
misunderstanding.
They're gonna have a form for contacting
No,
you
unless
by
they
email.
want to.
Cause, you know, as soon as you publish an email address, all the
Oh, I know.
spammers come in and
Mhm.
scrape that
Right.
off and you get
Right.
loaded down with spam, so.
But in thinking about what Jack had mentioned about having verbiage in there about how we are going to be reviewing the content, if there's something that we feel uncomfortable with, we will contact you directly. I do believe that that should be on the page somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
No, on the
No
website,
problem.
but
Yeah,
your
on the
mistake doesn't
website.
need to be in the letter.
Doesn't need to be in the letter.
No,
but
doesn't
once
need to be in
they
the letter,
go
but
to
definitely on the website, just for,
The letter,
Mhm.
we'll note that,
I'll send, you want it on the website or the letter?
no, the website.
I'll send Pam an email. That's some sort of caveat needs to be in there.
Yeah. I've got a list of things for Pam,
Oh.
so I'll
Okay,
give her.
And I think maybe if they're giving us their email address or some kind of notification war set up, then somebody can come in and see if they agree with how we classified them. And the only reason bringing that up, I happen to work for a business that has 7 different lines of businesses. Sometimes we get classified as something we don't want to be classified as.
oh, yeah. No, I totally agree that we will
Mhm.
encourage all the businesses to go on and review your listing. If there's any issue with it, contact us right away.
Okay.
We'll address it.
So that's a good point. So is there gonna be multiple listings for the?
Potentially, if a business is in 2 or 3 categories, that's common.
Yeah, well, look at,
yeah, that's
yeah,
what I'm
let's,
thinking.
let's
Look at you.
let's pick on
Convenience
Craig.
store,
we will-
restaurateur,
We'll
Gas,
list your
right,
restaurant
these are-
separately from the gas station,
Right.
separately from, you know, whatever else. We'll, you know, some of those are separate businesses. They're not the same business.
Mhm.
This is sort of a sidebar here, but I mean, how do we view ourselves in terms of Granville? When I think about the farm interaction and so forth, are we, I mean, they're sort of like an adopted child, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering if there ought to be some kind of participation. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean,
I'm right with you, Craig, because I know a lot of people up in Granville that, well, let me restate that. I feel it would be in our best interest as the town of Southwick to extend out an olive branch to Granville.
right.
And as the Economic Development Commission, I think this would be a great way for us to do that. But what I was wanting to do is let's launch this here in Southwick.
Okay.
Work out all the bugs
Okay.
and the kinks. Because then I want to have a representative of the EDC reach out to the town of Granville
Mhm.
and the town of Tallinn.
Mhm.
Because those folks travel through our town every day. And I know quite a few people that live in Tallinn that do all their shopping down here. So that would be a great extension. And I would say probably at the end of the first Q of 24, that would be able to happen.
Mhm.
Once we work out the kinks here.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
we could do a mailing to those businesses. Like, I wouldn't be quite as thorough about it. I would do the ones that are, I wouldn't go after every home business like we did here. We tried to be really thorough so nobody was left out.
Mhm,
We wouldn't have to be quite as thorough necessarily outside of the town.
right. Unfortunately, there's not a lot, but what is up there would definitely benefit them and us too with that olive branch.
Yeah, I think
the
that
apple
goodwill.
orchards and the,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So,
maybe we could get them to donate to our budget.
Possibly.
Well, if we,
I love the way you
I,
think.
and when I said that part of the target of the website is local residents, I also include neighboring towns.
Right,
We, when we promote Shop Southwick, we're hoping that spills over into Westfield and Granville and Suffield and Granby,
absolutely.
and, you know, the people that come through
Right.
town. We want them to use the site too.
Right, but the direction that Craig was going was spot on, because what is our school called?
Yeah.
The Southwick Tallinn Granville Regional School District. So they're our sisters. So
Yeah,
we need to,
Although Holland is a lot farther away than Agawam, Granby and Suffield and
Yep,
Westfield.
but we're a main artery for them.
And when we talk about goodwill, there are a lot of little businesses on up there that would really use the exposure.
I agree.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they'll be able to see potentially measurable results
Mhm.
by looking at when it launches to other promotions, sharing it on other forums in town, promoting their fairs, whatever events might be happening, it's gonna be able to be quantified.
Well, one more thing, it seems like beside this, I don't know what to be put on the town crier out there. But it seems like we ought to have this in a couple of different places, you know, maybe Southwoods or whatever. Besides,
Once
Right.
we launch it,
well, no, this letter, I think it ought to get some additional exposure.
Well,
Oh, okay.
I'd like it to be targeted though to the businesses.
I know, but, well, I'm just saying for those that might fall through the crack, it would be nice if they might just see it in Southwoods, they might see it on the town crier, hey. You know, I don't know how you,
Letter to the editor from the Economic Development
Right.
Commission. Dear Southwick
Take our
business owner and
survey.
managers, yeah.
right,
Or do we let it go and follow Greg's advice and advertise Shop Southwick, and people see that and then can inquire if they wanted to be on it?
Well, why didn't I get a letter? Why didn't?
well, fortunately, the letters to the editor are free.
Yeah, no, that'd be fine. I
So-
don't see us buying space to try to reach
No.
people.
right,
And that's something where when I talk with Carol at Southwoods, I'll share with her this and see if they have any ideas in regards to the public listings that they have. If there's something that maybe they could put there, that would not be a cost. So. Doesn't hurt to ask.
Can I, make a suggestion on this? It says urgent, respond by January 15th to get free local promotion of your business. I understand that, but otherwise it sounds like it wouldn't be free. Or if you miss the boat, or if you think you know, it's the 16th, you're not gonna respond because then it's not free.
Had comments. Part of this is my direct marketing.
I know. So I'm
I
like,
know
I'm
it-
like reading, I'm like, so how about urgent?
It works.
I-
If you don't put a deadline in, people will put it aside. I'll get to that sometime. If you put a deadline in that's within a week or two, when they receive it, they'll say, oh, I better do it now. We'll follow up to people that don't respond.
Okay.
So it's just, and anybody that's in business or is in the business of making things happen, know if you don't put a deadline on something, it's not gonna get done. People put it off.
Obviously, that's gonna be subject to change.
Right.
Right,
Right.
it's a,
Mhm.
we'll do it when we're ready to send the mailing out, we'll put a date that is about 2 weeks out from when we think it'll be delivered.
So in regards to the content.
I think it's good.
does everyone- Mhm. So do I hear a motion then to accept the content excluding the date that needs to be adjusted when we're ready to make this live? To agree on the letter and the packaging that Greg has shown us.
So moved.
The second,
And there'll be a bright orange urgent label right here
That's
too.
in my home right now, right on the box with all those envelopes.
And it looks like a business letter because it says
Looks like a
town hall.
bill.
No, that's actually important. If they look at it and say, oh, that's advertising, they may not pay attention.
Right.
Oh, what's this from the town? It's from the town. I
Yeah.
better look.
Okay,
And I've already got a volunteer to put all the urgent labels on the envelopes next week. So my mother has volunteered to do that, so it'll give her something to do. So, okay,
It's envelopes.
okay, perfect.
Don't have to feel
Right.
like
All right.
they've got to feel
All right.
sick.
so, next item on our agenda is, we've already talked about
Yeah.
the 1 January meetings, we're just gonna stick with that right now. A recap regarding the special town meeting.
What is this page for? It's okay.
Oh,
That's
that's
our letterhead.
That's our stationery.
I created a letterhead / stationery.
Yeah.
And I just wanted everyone to see an example of it.
Okay.
And, Martin is sending that to me in a Word doc. And if anybody thinks that they have a need to have that on their computer, then just let me know and I'll send it over to you. I'm definitely sending, well, Greg's already got it. I'm gonna send it to Jack when it comes in, because Jack's doing all of our treasury work.
And we're not using it for this mailing.
Are you not gonna use it for that?
No, it's gonna
It is
be
a
properly.
Okay, all
window,
right.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna fit
Counseling.
logistically, so,
but it's not gonna help that much for this.
Mhm.
I don't think it would boost our response.
No.
People get
No.
in there, they see pre-listing. I did the window so they can see this before they even open it, that it's dated and it's got a deadline.
right. I also created business cards for Greg, he's got business cards, I gave one to
Everybody need
Serena
that.
already.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, it's got all of our
Yeah.
information on it, because it's been amazing how many people, when I've been going to an event here or there,
They
do
want
you
your
have a card? Do you have a card?
Yeah,
Perfect.
that
Mm.
opening of the psychotherapy center would have been nice to
here's
pass out cards. You know.
Very nice.
So while you're at it, maybe we need to get some magnetic signs for the doors of the car and,
I think that might be a little bit too much there.
Got the one.
I have.
So it's just gonna be a good leave behind for
Right.
people. And also be
I
able
have
to,
one.
be able to promote
Thank you.
what it is we're attempting to do here. So did, who all attended the special town meeting?
what's that?
The special town meeting that was held on December 5th? In town? Okay, so I know Greg was there, I was there. There were 7 articles that they had on it. The first one, and the majority of it was all about the cannabis
Mhm.
and what the planning department has, or the planning board has gone through, making all these new caveat changes and the verbiage and locations or distance. So there was, as I said, 7 articles. The first article was to see what the town would agree upon for a tax on the sale of the product, and the town unanimously agreed to 3%. So any sales of the product is gonna be taxed at 3%. The second was to request to amend the chapter for authorize of non-substantive changes to the lettering and numbering of the bylaw in order to make it consistent with the numbering format as the town has. And that was requested by the select board, and that passed. Also in regards to the location of a retailer from a resident, the town agreed on 250 feet
everything went fast until we got to that, and then there was a big debate.
Yes.
Somebody wanted to make it
500.
closer, another wanted to make it
Yeah,
further.
one of the gentlemen who wants to have a host agreement in town wanted to change, amend that to 150 feet. And then, Mr. Didi on the finance committee wanted to change it to 350. So it was a big contentious debate. But they all, at the end of that process, agreed to keep it at from door to door of a resident, 250 feet, from a school or library, 500 feet. So, and that was, agreed upon.
The concern about making it more is there'd be only 5 places they could put one in.
Yeah.
Right, we're
Limited, right.
keeping it at the 250, there's about 28 potential places that this would be, allowed to go in. The town also agreed to 2. So there's only gonna be 2 retailers in town. The Article 5 was the request by the Craig Tea House.
Yes.
Right now, that piece of property has been zoned for as agricultural and conservation. And the owner wanted to have it changed to residential. So that they would be able to have more control of what they do with that piece of property. And I feel like there was like a calamity of errors that occurred here, and it's unfortunate
Yeah, and
From beginning to.
from beginning
Yeah.
to end.
from the EDC perspective, this is an ideal business for town. So one we want to recruit. It's a great service, it's quality, it's a big employer in town. It's just a perfect business. So I was really rooting that we could
So what did they
make it
decide?
easier for them, because people didn't understand that we
They
were
voted-
voting
they did?
on,
So he's going to have to remove those
Oh,
buildings.
those buildings in the back?
yeah.
Did he
Keep-
put them up there without a permit? or
No,
something?
he had
they
a permit.
But they came, in the end, they realized that the zoning of the area was different, even though there's always been restaurants
Oh,
there,
yeah.
there's always been everything there. So now it didn't fit into the format of that zoning.
Because the zoning was for the footprint of the
Oh.
building,
Oh, yeah, that's what
so
it
that
said.
that
Very
footprint couldn't be expanded.
But when he went and
Expanded.
got the permits and everything, that was like, oh, okay, you're zoned for that. But then it came about afterwards that the land itself was zoned differently versus that. So now, yes,
The confusion was so many people that voted against the change were assuming that this would give them permission to encroach on, wetland. And it had nothing to do with the conservation aspect of it. That
It's the
would be
footprint.
approved separately.
Of the building.
It was
the
just
physical
about-
building.
So they have to remove them.
In theory, yes. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I could see that that could be a potential that he would have to remove those self-enclosed units because they're also not handicap accessible.
right.
Yeah.
And they went outside of the scope of the original plan.
Mhm.
But as an economic supporter here in town, I mean, he employs between his 2 locations, over 70 employees. And his business is thriving.
Right.
I did not get up and speak either for or against it as a private citizen, nor as the chair of the EDC, because we've already agreed that we're not going to do that,
Mhm.
unless we all agree on it.
Mhm.
But it was a calamity of errors. It's the best way I can summarize
I
it,
agree.
so,
The other
um,
business,
pardon?
where's the other business?
He was
Like
one of
Springfield.
Springfield.
Springfield,
That was his original one.
and
Yeah.
it's on a postage stamp.
Mhm.
It was a stone's throw from my office for the past 20 years, and we had numerous events there. Thriving business as well. Here, it was an opportunity for him to play with his 3.5 acres.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, there's rules of how to play.
So I
And
understand the zoning aspect here. what, did he have like spot zoning?
So his zoning for his
Commercial,
business
yeah.
is only for the footprint of the building.
It was-
The rest of the land was considered conservation slash wetland type thing. But for
Agriculture.
agriculture, but when he
Conservation.
went to get the permits for these gazebos, as they were called, the gazebos were approved without realizing, because I think whoever maybe gave the permit saw that it was just the footprint, or didn't realize it was just for the footprint. So therefore, it became an issue down the road with some other things, and then it became an issue with people saying they're not handicap accessible and like all sorts of stuff, so.
Under the restriction, somebody was saying you couldn't even, if you had an existing porch on that property, you couldn't even cover it over.
But he did.
Expand the footprint.
Yeah,
Glad, it was great during COVID.
right, but, and
Mm.
he did that as well.
So I was all in
Yeah,
favor
right.
of giving more flexibility in the zoning, with the understanding that it didn't give them flexibility on violating any kind of conservation, but people didn't understand that. That was the big error in the state,
Right.
in the meeting
So
itself.
why didn't they consider a zoning change though?
That's what he was, I think.
Because
That's what he was
people,
requesting.
that's what he was requesting, but people assumed that he was trying to get around conservation laws, even though Mike Doherty said, no, that wasn't the purpose, but people thought he was trying to encroach on the Great Brook.
So I made a mistake earlier. I said he was wanting to change it to residential, but it was actually
Yeah.
it's zoned agricultural conservation, as I said. But he wanted to change it to business restricted,
Right,
to be able to redesign that
Give him
piece of
More
property.
flexibility.
More
with-
flexibility.
Even if it's far, far from the brook.
So,
You know, he's-
two,
he's
three,
restricted.
that
five,
was,
six, that was number 7.
yeah, that was 3 votes. Determined the fate of his business that night.
He needed a 2/3 and he
Yeah,
didn't.
needed 2/3.
He got 6.
So,
you know,
and
3
the,
votes changed it, would have changed.
How was it?
who was upset?
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. So, but I don't think he's going to leave our
Mm.
town because
Wow.
he's thriving.
Mm.
But if anything, it was a very important business learning
Mm.
experience that could cost a healthy penny.
Mhm.
So, and the town also agreed to appropriate funds for 4 pickleball courts
Oh, yes.
at Wally Park. And that's coming right out of the community preservation general fund, as well as 2 pickleball, say that fast 3 times, 2 pickleball courts here on the
Oh, town,
Fifty
oh,
Park.
good.
50 Park.
50
yeah.
Park.
Because it's got
It's
the
in
senior.
association with the senior center.
That's
I
great.
didn't realize it, but they took the basketball court out here and they put pickleball lines on it. And they were
Mm.
doing pickleball classes this past summer, and Cindy was saying, what a overwhelming response they got from
Mm.
people, that were going to the senior center. So that was approved, as well as also continuing the process to have the town elect 3 conservation commissioners and still allowing the select board to appoint 4 of them. So that's still moving forward. So that's the update regarding the special town meeting.
Thank you for that.
And y'all seen the letterhead and I liked that. And for old business, commission and board meetings for January participation. I don't want to feel like I'm forcing you folks to think about going to these, but I can't do Tuesday nights at the planning board. I just can't. But I can do Monday nights, I can do Wednesdays on the AdCom as well. But I think it'd be great if somebody would be willing to, even if it's not attending in person, but be there on Zoom at the planning board meetings. I'm aware of what the agendas are, well, we all are aware of what the agendas are going to be because we see them, because they have to be posted at least 2 days prior to the meeting. But that would be a good way for us to start showing ourselves and developing hopefully more credibility with them. I've already spoken with John and he is gonna be keeping me aware of other businesses that might be tapping into into our town. We're wanting to develop that, as the select board had said when Craig and Greg and I met with them, that they'd like to have a representative of EDC in those initial meetings with these businesses. My first gut was possibly Mark Falco because of his business acumen and his ability to articulate very well and maybe ask some really good questions, but we haven't been able to connect about that. But that's something for us to look at going into 24 is those planning board meetings. Greg's been trying to connect with Mr. Sullivan for the Western Mass Economic Development agendas.
You know, I'll put another call into them after Christmas and
Yeah, because we want to see
try to
when,
push to be at the January meeting.
right, and so that we can share with you all when those meetings are. There's a Zoom meeting, I believe it's in the mornings. And just once a month, correct?
Yeah, I think it's something like the second or third Thursday of each month. Thursday
Right.
morning.
So we're gonna want to be aware of that, and other than that, I really don't have any other housekeeping.
So,
any-
and what I think I represented that sometime starting February, I could, well, depending on when conservation meets, because Tuesdays and Wednesdays are bad for me, but they usually be Mondays, I think, so that's why I offered that. I have a little bit of conflict of interest with the tax board, so I probably shouldn't show up there at this point,
Oh, come on,
as much as I know to.
yeah, Yeah.
So I don't know when conservation meets,
I think it is on Monday nights.
so that might work, okay.
So, and this is something
I'll
where
look
we can
into the-
rotate.
Tax board now that I've got a little more time, like Tuesday nights are not.
Right, that's what I'm
Open
thinking,
in-
rotating is good.
in
Oh, yeah,
spring.
definitely rotating, so they see different faces.
Right.
And have that strong visibility there, because the only way we're gonna really understand what's going on is to be in the know. And that's gonna be critical. They want us there. They invited, so. But yeah, definitely don't, you're doing to do the assessors, right?
Well, I just brought it up now that I'll look into that. I'm not sure what night they meet, but I'll look into that. The planning board is Tuesday nights
At 7?
and
Is it in the
Tuesday,
land use room?
Tuesday at
Going
certain
to
times of the year. In the summer, I can
I'm gonna
do
try to go.
Tuesdays. In spring and fall, I'm
Bring
tied up on
snacks
Tuesdays usually.
and water. Cause
Yeah, why?
sometimes they can go on for 2 to 3 hours. And that,
Or Zoom from home.
right, or definitely you can zoom
On
in,
your
you
couch.
can definitely zoom in. The assessors. Just got something from them. No, that's the Board of Appeals.
I'll look it up.
Don't have it right on the top of my head.
I can look it up.
So, does anybody have anything that they want to make comment on?
We had the motion about the meeting and we had a second. Do we need to vote on that?
I think we all,
Go,
Oh, we didn't have a formal vote.
okay,
I think
I'm
we're
gonna,
all
I'm gonna
agreed,
motion,
but-
yes, if you wanna do formal, I will motion to change our meeting for January to January 10th. Anybody,
Okay.
second?
Second,
Okay,
let's do a vote. Inga, yes, or everyone in favor, say aye.
aye.
Okay, unanimous.
Okay.
You're so formal, thanks for
Anything
keeping me
else?
on track there, Craig, it's a little informal.
I heard
right.
something about the, farm forum in January.
Yeah, Farm Forum is gonna be on January 24th.
Okay.
And last year we hosted it at the library, this year we're hosting it at the town auditorium. Because we're gonna have more people attending. We were doing a little bit of an outreach even over the border into Feeding Hills / Agawam and also Connecticut. So, and starting to strategize what we're gonna do better for this year.
So how does it take, what takes place?
We just, at that meeting, what our main purpose is to identify additional farms that would have interest in participating. We have to discuss about our hours. It was overwhelmingly apparent that the participants this past year could not go to all farms because they just really, they don't want to, because they were so engrossed with whether it was,
It took, yeah.
yeah, it just.
I did them all, but it wasn't very quick. I mean, it was a quick visit to each one.
Right, and not able to really enjoy the full plate that you might have wanted to. So we're looking to extend the hours, probably 10 to 4 or 10 to 5. So that's gonna require also looking at logistically, we're gonna have to have 2 shifts at all of the farms. We're gonna need up our NHS student volunteers, looking at additional marketing venues.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry, I just thought of the NHS, the sports teams. You can look at some of the sports teams at the high school too. They need to typically do some sort of
Community
volunteer
service,
work and
yeah, they
community
do.
service work each, season.
Trying to get,
Okay.
trying to get upstairs.
Yes, we have a full venue. I've got 15 minutes to speak at the ag. It's like, we're doing it as a separate spin-off. So at the Eco Forum, talking about getting more businesses involved, how we can maybe cross-pollinate with other businesses in town that weekend. Possibly looking at our restaurants doing a farm fresh venue that weekend. So it's gonna be a think tank environment where we're just gonna be spitballing out ideas and listening to what the farms want us to help them with this year.
So, we have that tree farm over there at Drake Mountain that, we're very, we're deep in it. I mean, as far as being involved and, every once in a while we'll go to one of these trustees reservation, meetings. Have you been to any of those or not?
No,
It is, I mean, it seems like the farms really ought to be talking to agencies like that. I mean, they put on a wonderful program, locally here and educate people. So, they might take a farm and have the get together at that site, they'll bring in, like, people that have eagles, that they train and all that kind of stuff. It's a fun day and, I'm not saying to take a place of what you were just talking about, but it certainly would be something that I would think they would tie into it.
and that could be something that we can help facilitate as well and support.
Exactly.
We're doing a grant writing, at the library next month for farms as well.
But see, this is what.
And
these
also
people bring in. They
succession
bring- Yeah,
planning
they talk
for
about
the
all
farms.
these things, so,
Right.
I mean,
so-
like state agencies, that type of thing?
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they're a wealth of
Yeah, yeah.
information.
Yeah, and between AgCom and conservation, there's some really good things happening right now in the town. Like I said, next month, grant writing for farms and also succession planning. So
So, yeah, they have the
We're
workshops. or
doing
whatever.
things to
Mhm.
help them understand how to look at their business.
Mhm.
Because there are some farms here locally that we don't know who the next generation is. Because they don't have interest. So what can happen to that farm?
Exactly.
So that's gonna be a good conversation during the forum is succession planning.
Serena, I mean, the trustees and then there was that, River Conservancy up in Westfield. Who was the fellow that was, he used to come
You used to come to ours.
some of our meetings. Boy, I don't know if you got politically involved at some point,
Was it a girl or a guy?
so,
Hmm,
oh, you know, I mean.
I probably do know.
But anyway, we've just sort of lost track of a lot of those things in town here, right?
Well, we can,
And Pioneer
Definitely
Valley
look-
Planning Commission too.
Yeah,
Right.
but the,
we've just really partnered strong with them upstairs
Yeah.
with the whole 2040. And are gonna continue, I think that agreement is done now, but they're
Mhm.
definitely involved with the town.
anyway. It's something we.
Oh, there's so many things that we could look at. It could be sort of overwhelming. But right now, I feel that what we've been able to accomplish so far,
Mhm.
and I know some of it is behind the scenes and we're not
Mhm.
physically seeing it right now, but by this time next month, we should have a live website. And we will have mailings going out to 476 businesses and start spreading the word that there's an economic development commission that wants to support a healthy economic flavor here in town. So gotta start somewhere. So this is a
Mhm.
great foundation.
And the other thing to think about is we have 6 months left in our budget.
Right,
So we want to be funded at the same level.
we gotta spend,
We gotta expend what we have in productive and useful things for the town.
right. I can see some of that being used for some marketing for our website. Looking at spending some money there. I know Pam said that's gonna be critical for us to get that site out there. We're gonna have to spend a little bit of money, so Pam's gonna be able to educate us on what does that look like.
Mhm.
So what I'd like to have everyone thinking about as well, and then we can wrap up the meeting, is the springtime, before we know it, is gonna be here. And I wanna talk about Craig's idea last year that was fed to him by Diane, his wife, about doing some type of a beautification.
Contest, we could get
Contest.
several $1,000s there really easy,
Mhm.
and we
And
should.
and we don't have several thousands of dollars at this point. We've got $3,700 in a gift account. And we've got about $2,900 left in our account as well, with 1,500 of that being earmarked for our website. But we can do something better than nothing for them.
We can, but I'm saying we should shoot for getting more next year so we can really,
Well, I think our best bet would be doing figuring out the beautification grants that they have out there, because it's grants, it's like,
we were talking about a contest.
Yeah,
Can we get
yeah, yeah,
$1,000
right.
there, you know?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think the whole grant piece, I mean, when you start listening to some of these webinars, it's amazing the money that's out there for some of these small businesses. Right now, there's one for storefronts that have been vacant for a year in Massachusetts. In, I want to say towns that are less than 10,000 people. That has to be first floor, easy accessible in and out, vacant for a year. And the Commonwealth will give them $10,000 off of their tax bill. So it's tax credit. So that's something that Amanda has been talking to me about at the Westfield Chamber. So that's something that once we have that website up and running,
Yeah.
and we deploy a couple of small groups of people that want to do a little smiling and dialing or sending out emails to people. Take a look at what the town might want and see about soliciting some businesses to fill up some of our vacant spaces. And oh, by the way, here's a tax credit that will come your way as well. But we have to have all that, we have to have an understanding of it. Obviously, we have to be educated on it to be able to promote it. ethically and with the
Then
full
we
integrity.
Need to have information about those vacant places.
Right, yeah.
Whether they're, maybe we don't have a problem, maybe they're all getting booked up. I mean, I'm surprised at the number of small businesses we have and
Mhm.
how they filled in.
Right, luckily we've got a handful of landlords, and it would be very easy for us to be able to contact those landlords and ask them about the space. How long it's been vacant, here's our thoughts, what do you think? And have them even part of that outreach program, because
Yeah,
it would
I
benefit
wanna
them to
know
have,
Where
Someone in there.
where the problems are. I mean, there are other places that have far worse problems than we do.
Mhm,
I'd like to know what we have.
yeah.
And in terms of beautification, I'd love to find examples of other towns in the Pioneer Valley or the hills. Or out further west in Mass that have done that successfully. What have they done? Have they had contests? Have they got grants? What other towns have been able to upgrade their town centers?
So you want to spearhead that, Greg?
Well, I'd say everybody should be on the lookout.
On the lookout for
I mean,
that,
I can
definitely.
search the web, I sign up for, like, I'm on East Hampton's email list for their, I guess it's their chamber, which
Mhm.
is very aggressive. And I look for towns that are being aggressive.
Well,
Yeah.
at the select board meeting last week, Pat McMahon and Michael were there. And Pat made a presentation because she's part of the historical commission or cultural commission. And what they're wanting to propose here in town is to take used agricultural equipment that is no longer running. So it could be a tractor, it could be a small piece of instrument
Implement.
depending on how it is, and have it painted by a local artist. And then placed at businesses in town, like they do in West Springfield with the terriers. Where my sister lives up in Waterford, New York, they did ponies. So every town seems to be gravitating towards something.
Mhm.
And I thought that was just an incredible idea. And how fun that would be to promote that in town as well.
Mhm.
And then either auction them off after they've had their stance in front of Southwick Insurance or College Highway Insurance or the Notch, and raise money that way for that commission. So.
Yeah, building a theme for the town.
Yeah, and branding it a bit of a
Mhm.
brand,
Mhm.
The
so.
small town in Indiana where my company is based is named Bern, Indiana. It's named after Bern, Switzerland. And they have a Swiss theme throughout the town. They have facades and businesses. Probably 20 different businesses that are in a Swiss theme. And they built a duplicate of the clock tower in Bern, Switzerland,
Okay,
in the town center. So, I mean, it's an example
right,
of building an identity for the town, a theme that the town kind of rallies around and promotes business.
so it could be something fun to elaborate on. But what you might want to do, Craig, is see if Diane might want to put a little bit of thought behind it as well, since it was her idea.
Okay.
And if you want, we could even have Diane come to one of our next couple of meetings, not the next one, because it's going to be all focused on the website, but maybe the one after or the one in February to talk about how we'd want to roll this out to our businesses and what type of thought she had. I know you were thinking like flower boxes or window boxes, but see if she'd be willing to help participate. Because the more the merrier. So, any other comments or questions? No? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
Okay,
All in
all
favor?
all in favor? Now, we've got to go up to the